Hi, I'm Dale and welcome to Spotted Motors. Now, it's been around about 2 months since I last did a video. Now, if I'm going to give this YouTube thing a real good go, that isn't good enough. So, we're better to begin again by doing a video on the Range Rover and what it's like to own and use one of these cars on a daily basis. Now, I bought this around about 2 months ago when I did my last video. So, I thought I'd tell you what it's like using this car as a daily driver and what problems and everything else in between. Now, we're better to start with what work I've done to this car since the last video. So, we better move around the driver's side and tell you why I have two brand new sets of keys for this car. So, 2 weeks into ownership, I finish work, jump in it as always, and key in the ignition and fire it up. What happens? The key snapped in the ignition and there was no way of getting the bugger out. So what I had to do was strip all the steering column out to get to the barrel. I took the barrel out and not a hope in hell of getting that barrel, getting the key out of the barrel. So I, as it was all exposed under there and things like that, I hot-wired it. So I've got it started up, so I can definitely get it home and worry about it at a later date. But what happens when you turn the wheel without a key in? The steering lock comes on. So my next job was to, reluctantly, grind the steering lock off this car. Now, 2 weeks into ownership and I've got everything hanging down, all the wiring and everything, because all the the wipers and everything else is on there, wires everywhere, and I've got a grinder in here grinding the steering lock off. So yeah, that was a great bit of fun. Got the car home and luckily there was a guy up in, I think it was Edinburgh, who does a full steering lock and barrel with two keys. So ordered that, 4 or 5 days later I was fitting that, and luckily fantastic fit. There was no modifications needed or anything like that, and it come with two keys as well. So that was one obstacle done. The second thing that happened to me, the exhaust started really badly rattling, and it sounded horrendous, absolutely terrible. So got underneath there and realised it was coming from the catalyst. So I was straight onto Euro car parts, and the catalyst comes on the downpipe, so you have to buy the full downpipe, which wasn't too bad to do really. The bolts that hold everything in are quite big, and yeah, you can rev at them a little bit. So full new downpipe on this, and a catalyst as well. I also bought an oxygen sensor because the other one snapped as I was taking that off. So it was sounding perfect until we had a little bit of problem under the bonnet. Manifold gaskets, one of them had blew and it was popping. It sounded terrible. So I took the manifold off the actual engine. Again, Euro car parts had the gaskets in stock and changed all four of them on the right bank. Exhaust is sounding exactly as it should now, so that is a real nice job done. So the only thing original on this car is the manifold. I've replaced the downpipe, and someone, the previous owner, was good enough to put a Jan Speed stainless steel middle section and back box on this car, so the exhaust now is fully fit. Looking at the car though, it looks pretty much the same as what it does when I first bought it. I have found out that the ride height is a little bit higher than normal, a bit higher than standard. It actually sits 50mm higher, and I've worked it out that it is a suspension lift. You can get a body lift on these cars. This is a suspension lift. So I'm going to see if I can source the original springs and get that put back to original ride height. I don't mind it sat as it is, but I wouldn't mind it back to original and sitting that little bit lower, and maybe it will ride on the motorway that little bit better as well. So that's the next job. Other jobs I've been doing is just tidying the interior up. Spend a lot of time in there, don't you? So the Vogue badge, that's gone. There's a couple of like air fresheners stuck here and there. all loose trim and little nicky knacks that were missing. I've replaced all that. Even had a go at making these door sill trims, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, that was very hard to source, as there used to be plastic, as you can see there. But I couldn't find them for love of money. The ones that I did find were cracked and broken, so I made these ones. Yes, it's a different colour grey, but this car is 50 shades of grey in there anyway, so it does stand out a little bit, yeah, I'll be honest there, it does. But it takes your eye off it. It was the floor there, so it looks a little bit better, and I've done that the other side as well. So what is it like living with this on a daily basis then? So, like I said, I've used this to go back and forth to work in, I've used it to, you know, go to parties and everything else in between. The first thing I must mention about this car, and yes, it's a 3.9 litre, and yes, everybody told me who knew I was buying this car that it was going to be absolutely terrible on fuel. But oh my god, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. It just loves petrol, absolutely loves it. I reckon you wouldn't be able to tip it away quicker. This thing averages about 13 miles to the gallon. Now, yes, on my way to work I don't really get it over 40 mile an hour, but oh, it just drinks it, it really just drinks it. So yeah, yes, it's obvious, it's a 3.9 litre V8 with an automatic gearbox, and it's a four-wheel drive, so it's not going to be brilliant, but you do get a shock filling it up on a daily basis. I've had cars in the past that haven't been great on fuel, but this takes the biscuit. Other than the fuel, I'm happy. It's still brilliant. That V8 rumble, automatic gearbox, you sort of sit back and just fling it around. It gets great reception everywhere I go, at work, or pulling up at a shop, or even filling up at the petrol station, which is a regular occurrence. Everyone seems to like it. Everyone is always over asking questions about it, how long have I had it, and bits and bobs. One thing I have noticed though, and a lot of classic car fans and classic car owners will relate to this, people come over and say, my dad used to have one of them, or oh, I remember I used to have one of them. With this car, which I find a bit odd, people always come over and say, I remember my first ride in one of them. So yeah, whether or not it's a more of a childhood sit in the back seats kind of car, I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's I definitely get a lot of that. I also have had a couple of people come over and offer to buy it off me, which normally, and the more you get to know me and the more you get to know Spotted Motors, I would have sorted straight away. I'm not one to hang on to cars, but I'm not quite finished with this yet. I think I need to do these odd little bits that I want to get done. MOT runs out in December, so it's only short MOT as well, so I wouldn't want to sell it with that. But I will sell it in time. I will sell it, but I don't think I'm quite finished with it yet. Definitely not quite finished with it yet. But getting back to what it's like to own it, 2 months into ownership and everything in between, it has been great. It puts a smile on your face every time you turn the key. It is a great daily driver. I mean, it's comfy, it's got loads of luggage space in the back. I've done a couple of odd jobs with it, you know, where I've thrown stuff in the back and it doesn't break sweat. So overall, still more than happy. Well, yeah, mega happy. With older cars, you do have to sort of fettle with them a little bit more and keep on top of the maintenance and things like that. It's definitely overdue a service, so that's the next job. See if I can get this ride height dropped, and then it's starting on the bodywork really. I mentioned getting the dents took out, as it has got some quite nasty dents and scratches. One on the tailgate there, if the camera can pick it up. One on the back end there, if you can camera and pick it up. So if I can get them little odd jobs done on it, it will look rather dashing. I never normally say dashing, so yeah, shame I can't edit that out. As for the chin spoiler, I've spoke to a lot of Range Rover Classic owners, and yeah, they said best of luck finding one of them. They do seem quite a rare part. I've seen a couple on eBay and things like that, but they weren't exactly ready to bolt on. They were, you know, cracked and damaged and not really worth the effort to go on to buy them. But yeah, interior wise, it's looking very clean. I spent a lot of time messing about just getting everything cleaned up and any rattles and bangs and all the interior trim put back to where, you know, the factory fresh as best I can, apart from these that I mentioned earlier that I made myself. I'm not sure about them, but yeah, they're on there. As for the back, nothing really needs doing too much in here. Very clean and nice armrests. So there you go. Nice to get back onto YouTube, and I will start doing a couple more videos a bit more frequently. Still got the 944, which I definitely am going to do a buyer's guide on that, because as you've seen with this, I do a lot of work on them myself. So the 944 I've had it over 2.5 years, so yeah, definitely get a video done on that, pretty sharpish. And also I think what I'll do is, just to get to know me a little bit better, I will run through all the cars I've owned since passing my test, which is a grand total of 55. So yeah, I better get them written down because I can't remember them all off the top of my head. But for now, thank you very much for watching. If you do like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. Any comments, definitely get them written down in the section below, and don't forget to give me a like if you also like what you see. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Spotted Motors.